It's surreal. I mean, didn't expect this to happen today for sure. It was just seeing the response. You can clearly tell it's a very serious deal, and just praying for everyone that's involved.
Yeah. And breaking overnight, our coverage of the Givaudan Sense Color Factory continues with new details this morning. Wave News has obtained a statement from the company. They say 2 of their team members died in that massive explosion that sent at least a dozen people to the hospital yesterday afternoon, blew out windows of nearby businesses. And our Skytrack camera captured that moment it happened. You see it right up there on the right-hand corner. A big plume of smoke billowing into the sky. And our drones went overhead, and it shows the power of that explosion. The building nearly completely flattened. We've been getting a lot of viewer photos into the newsroom, too, showing us what things looked like. This morning, city officials will give an update. That's expected at 10 o'clock this morning. Josh Nickey live right now to break down more details. Josh.
And Shannon, obviously the scene not nearly as active as it was yesterday afternoon, but fire officials are still here. We just saw them put up some caution tape here, and also a few of them walk up to the scene that's here behind us. You can see the area blocked off by that fire truck right there. But of course, officials say this explosion happened yesterday at 3 o'clock, and they had to be very careful because all of the chemicals that are here at this plant. Givaudan does a whole variety of things, including manufacturing beauty and fragrance products. That meant the fire department had to use a lot of hazmat equipment. One person was pinned while the building collapsed. We're not sure, though, if they're one of the 2 people who died at this point. The fire chief says the company's emergency plan was a huge help to those first responders.
There was one person that was trapped that our firefighters got out, but there were several people that had to be evacuated. And again, I give a lot of credit to our corporate partners in this city. They had an emergency action plan. They worked with us greatly to get those people out. They were very helpful.
And authorities also had a new drone that they used to test the air quality here in the area. Thankfully, that was never a problem yesterday. Still not a problem this morning, so that's all fine. And we should be getting an update on potentially what happened here yesterday. That's coming up this morning at 10 o'clock with the fire officials in the mayor, and we will carry that for you live. We'll stream that for you on our Facebook page, the Wave 3 app, and of course, wave3.com as well. Live here in the Clifton neighborhood, Josh Nickey, Wave News.
Thank you, Josh. And again, breaking overnight, we learned that 2 of the employees died. And city officials say the Louisville Fire Department is still searching the building, working with the building's company to identify workers. 12 people total were taken to U of L Health and Baptist Health for care. In an update given to us last night, U of L Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jason Smith says 2 of the patients were in critical condition, but again, it's unknown if the 2 deaths were part of the original 12 taken to the hospital. Smith says there were a variety of injuries that they were dealing with: burns, blunt injuries, and people who had been crushed. People had to go through a decontamination process as well that involved removing all of their clothing and cleaning the patients for any chemical exposure.
With things like this, with industrial chemicals, while we train for it, we have to basically assume that they have been contaminated with everything in the factory or in the area where there's explosion. And then after we decontaminate them, we bring them in for overall care from that perspective.
Officials are advising people to try to avoid that area right now so crews can continue working the scene and cleaning things up. But it was a powerful shock that was felt and heard across the metro. Most of the damage impacted people who live and work nearby, but the blast was so big. When we talked with some people who live nearby, they said they were shaken when they found their own homes damaged.
We went back inside to take additional pictures of the inside. The window in the back door had been completely blown out from it. I mean, as soon as it happened, everyone came running out of their house. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? So, but yeah, my back door completely blew the window out. Crazy.
First responders evacuated the area, keeping some home and business owners from checking on their properties until they knew it was safe for them to return. But some businesses had glass shattered, so they were boarding things up. Some say they wonder how much worse this could have been.
I had just came home from work probably 20 minutes before it happened, and I was sitting there talking to my mother, and out of nowhere, a loud boom, and it shook the house.
You got too many people in this neighborhood. If it was something bigger, you know, who knows what would have happened.
Some of the families who had their home damaged are getting help from the American Red Cross. Our troubleshooters have been working to learn more about the history of this company that owns the factory. It's not the first time there's been an explosion there. Now, it's named Givaudan Sense Color, was previously part of a company called D.D. Williamson & Company. DDW had been in business for more than 150 years. Swiss company Givaudan acquired that facility in 2021. The plant makes coloring for drinks and other food items, also fragrance and beauty products as well. Now, the site also had an explosion in 2003. Records show 44-year-old Louis Perry was killed when 40,000 pounds of ammonia in a tank exploded. The explosion also caused a shelter-in-place order in the Clifton neighborhood. The U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board says the feed tank most likely failed due to overheating of caramel food coloring. The board claimed the plant did not have a relief valve for overpressure protection or an alarm to warn workers. It's unknown if this was the reason for yesterday's explosion, though.
And yesterday's severe weather throughout our area has left behind a mess. Our wave storm tracking team has been keeping everyone updated every step of the way. And today, people will continue to clean up as Kentucky remains in a state of emergency. The resilience and spirit of different communities is already on display, with people pitching in to help wherever they can.
Makes you want to cry. Everybody, so they don't care who you are, they're helping. They see something, they're helping. That's all that matters. It's really good to see how people in time of need come together and do what they got to do. They don't ask, they just grab and go.
Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency because of all the damage. He's actually headed home early from spring break to talk about the recovery efforts. That's happening today at noon. Buildings across at least 19 counties have reported damage, including Jefferson and Oldham counties in the Prospect area. That's where Wave News reporter Josh Ninke is this morning. Josh, good morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Yeah, we came up to the Prospect area coming up River Road. You see occasional limbs down on the way up here, but as you get closer to the Hunting Creek area where we're at right now, you see more of this that's right behind me. This enormous tree just knocked over by the force of the storm. Going to step out of the way, let my photographer Michael Flynn get a closer look at this. You see just pulled up by the roots, absolutely toppled over here. And this is just one of several of these that you can see out here. Lots and lots of trees. Another thing to note, part of this area doesn't have power, but we've got a whole crew of linemen who are out here this morning trying to help out. So we, again, as we were coming up this way, I'd say we passed, maybe 4 or 5 crews just in this specific area taking a look at what they can do to get power up and running. You can see some power on in the distance there, but the initial part of this whole area just completely dark as you roll up. So it's definitely one of those situations where folks who are living in this area need to be taking it a little bit slow as they exit this morning, because there's still plenty of stuff out on the roads, and as you can see, just toppled over in the area. Now, we're going to be sticking around here in this area showing you some more damage as we get going here this morning, because again, cleanup just getting underway and power still coming on for lots of folks here in this area. Live in Prospect, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Josh, thank you. And this morning, preliminary data shows 1 tornado so far in our area and 3 overall in Kentucky, along with 2 reports of straight line winds. An EF1 has been reported in the Nelson County area of Chaplin. The National Weather Service will continue their surveys there today. The 90-mile-per-hour winds left a path of destruction, including knocking down parts of this family's home. The Chaplin community has come together quickly to help their neighbors, groups coming to dig through the debris left behind.
Most all of us grew up here together, so if anybody needs anything, we're there for them. Yeah, I run a trucking company, and my brother called and said, "Hey, need a truck up there." I said, "I'll be up there in just a few minutes." So we brought the truck, and these people, it was their house, so we needed to get the truck and get their stuff in the dry, because we got bad weather still coming, rain coming, so we wanted to get them safe as we could.
Nelson County Emergency Management says it's important to always be prepared in severe weather situations and encourage everyone to stay connected to get weather alerts.
But in the coming days, we're going to be out there helping to clean the limbs and the trees that have fallen. And like I said, some of them are out there now, and they're going to be working through the nights, but it's going to take several days to recover. And I thank God that everybody survived this.
Across the river in Jeffersonville, neighbors are still surveying the damage there. That was Mayor Mike Moore pledging to help anyone who needs it. He also says at least 10 people were hurt after the storm rolled through several neighborhoods, but he says none of those injuries were severe. One driver narrowly missed what could have been a serious incident. Check out this video. It shows what looks like a tornado crossing the road right in front of a man in his vehicle with his kids inside along I-265 in southern Indiana. He spoke with us about what was going through his mind during this moment.
No, like I said, I tried to get out of the path of it, but it moves a lot quicker than what you can maneuver traffic and the road safely, you know. So once it got upon us, we just kind of buckled down a little bit and got below the windows, you know, in case anything was to come through, and we just waited it out.
Mayor Moore asks that people respect the privacy of the neighborhoods that have damage. He also warns people to be on the lookout for scam contracts using this emergency to their advantage. But the Red Cross is offering assistance and shelter to anyone who needs help in Jeffersonville. Storm relief is available at the Jeffersonville Fire Station 4 on East 10th Street. We're also getting a look at some crazy video out of Lexington. Powerful winds knocking a UK student right off their feet on their way to class. Both U of L and UK shut down early because of the weather risk yesterday. But those same strong winds blew power lines down across I-75. It caused a backup for miles. Emergency crews also responded to house fires and trees that fell onto homes. One driver described what it was like as the power lines fell onto the road.
Raining so hard I could barely see, so I was driving like 30 miles per hour or something. And next thing I know, those things just come swing this way, smash the vehicle. Slow down, turn your emergency lights on, make sure, you know, that you keep a distance from other vehicles.
We're told I-75 is back open near Lexington, but they're still dealing with plenty of cleanup in the area. So this video is from the Chevy Chase neighborhood. A large tree fell onto a car while he was still inside. He was sitting in the driver's seat, heard the tree cracking, and then quickly made it over to the passenger seat right before it came crashing down. Another county with a preliminary tornado report is in Anderson County. This one also measuring in as an EF1. According to the Anderson County Emergency Management, there was some property damage to a lot of homes and buildings in the county, but fortunately no injuries were reported. Several parts of western Kentucky and southwest Indiana are dealing with their own issues after those storms rolled through. Houses were destroyed across several counties there. One of those was Union County, Kentucky. Several families had to take cover when the storm came through quickly. One mobile home was flipped on its side. 5 people were inside when that storm hit. 3 were tossed out of the home, and 2 kids were stuck inside.
I started praying because we couldn't find them, and I found them like probably 5 seconds later under the house and under their bed.
And my mom, Morgan, comes check on me and see if I was okay.
Everything else is purely material. I'm just glad my kids are all right.
All 5 are okay. They're just shaken up a bit. Those mattresses under the house cushioned what could have been a deadly situation. And we'll have a longer look at the damage in that area coming up. The severe weather outbreak came 1 day shy of the super tornado outbreak anniversary 50 years ago. On April 3rd, 1974, almost 100 tornadoes swept across 13 states in less than 24 hours. And that included Indiana and Kentucky. 27 of them hit parts of Kentucky, including Louisville. There, it killed 3 people, injured hundreds, and leveled homes and businesses. 31 people were killed when an EF5 tornado struck the Brandenburg area of Meade County. In Jefferson County, Indiana, 2 F4 tornadoes killed 11 people and left more than 300 injured. Tornadoes also touched down at Hanover College. Many people we spoke with in the towns impacted that day say it's important to remember how things can change in an instant.
Stories about having the roof ripped off their sorority house, being in the shower when it hit, not knowing what was happening, and the disorientation and then what happened afterwards. So it is an important part of our history.
Decades later, the Graham anniversary is a sign of strength and resilience. Mayor Greenberg, along with members of Kentucky Emergency Management, the National Weather Service, and Louisville Emergency Services will commemorate the day. That's today at 10 a.m. at Metro Hall, just after a briefing on yesterday's storms. Brandenburg is hosting a memorial service at First Baptist Church, a place remembered for the destruction. That's tonight at 4 p.m. Then Hanover College is also inviting alumni and others to the patio of the campus center at 3:45 p.m. so they can honor the victims of those storms.
First day is always hard, but I feel really good about where we are at this point.
A big statement from JCPS Superintendent Marty Polio ahead of the first day of school, but now it's go time. The biggest issue facing the school board this year, transportation.
It's a major problem, and even though I have the transportation to take him to school, many other parents won't.
Some families, though, worried about how they'll get their child to school on time and the impacts it'll have on their child's education.
Sending your kid off is always scary, just in general. And education is the most important thing, and we should be focusing all our resources to education.
And it's not just getting kids to school, it's about getting them there safely. That includes at the bus stop and in the classroom. This morning on Wave News Sunrise, we'll talk about all the changes JCPS has made for this new school year, the most important things to know before you head out the door this morning.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning to you. I'm Shannon Kogan coming to you live from the JCPS bus compound where I see a lot of drivers starting to arrive. We're bringing you team coverage this morning. Olivia Russell is going to talk about that Educate Light app, how you can follow your child's bus. Kirsten Foote is in the storm tracker this morning, taking a look at how the roads are with all those buses on there. But first, let's go to meteorologist Tawana Andrew on this very humid morning. Tawana.
Yeah, I've been mentioning the hairspray and the hair gel for most of the morning, and probably not a bad idea for this first day of school. We want to make sure everyone looks extra sharp as they're heading out. This downtown Skytrack camera showing that traffic is picking up, yes, and we're not seeing much of that sunlight yet, but plenty of it is in our forecast for today. Our satellite and radar shows that there is not much going on across wave country right now. Few upper level clouds overhead, and that is it to start the day. So for that first day of school for so many kids, we're going to see plenty of sunshine for that ride in with temperatures in the 60s and low 70s. By lunch, we're going to be jumping to near 80 degrees, and for that ride home, we're going to be well into the 80s, so a little bit sweaty later on today, having that water bottle handy so everybody stays hydrated. Probably a good idea. But of course, with that hair cast today, we do have some of that humidity around, so you're going to deal with that extra frizz. But good news is that we are going to watch for some lower humidity arriving once we head into the weekend. Another front moves through for tomorrow, though. That's going to help to initiate the cool down that's coming our way. I have a feeling that some people wish that cool down started this morning, though, Olivia.
Right. But hey, at least it'll give them a beautiful first weekend, which I'm sure will be fantastic for them no matter what. Your traffic this morning, not too many cars out there right now, but I know that's going to change within the next hour or so. So right now things are quiet on our metro traffic cameras, and our map is showing everything is all green this morning. So there you go. If you're headed out early, or for all those buses that are heading out, everything's looking clear for them right now. We're hoping it's going to stay that way, but again, we know there will be some backups, maybe some frustrations on the roads this morning. So let's just try to be safe out there. And we'll track some of those buses in just a couple of minutes. So we'll send things out to Shannon, though.
Thank you so much, Olivia. I'm joined by Carolyn Callahan, Chief of Communications for JCPS, and we all just need to follow what her earrings say. Be kind if you're talking about on the roads and stuff, Olivia. So you guys made a bunch of changes, and the biggest one is you hired more bus drivers, and I see some of them arriving right now.
Yes, it's really fun to see all the bus drivers heading out to their buses. We hope they have a great first day. We know that they will. Yeah, so we've done a ton of recruiting. We have had bus driver blitzes. We've just done a lot of targeted recruiting, and we've had a lot of folks who have said, I want to help. How can I do it? And we said, well, you can be a bus driver. Come on in. We'll train you. We'll pay for you to get your CDL. So that's been phenomenal. We also have a partnership with TARC. So we have 70 TARC drivers who are training to become JCPS bus drivers. So they're not on the roads yet, not for the first couple of weeks. They still need, some of them still need that S certification, which is a school bus certification, and they're working through that process.
Gotcha. If a parent is waking up this morning saying, oh my goodness, where is the bus stop? What should they do?
They should go to jcpsfirstday.com, click on bus teller, and they'll be able to go in there and see where their student stop is, the bus number, and the estimated pickup time.
Okay, and then also if they have any questions and they want to talk to a live person, people are answering the phone right now at 485-RIDE.
Yes.
They're going to be there all day long until what time?
They're going to be there until our last student is dropped off.
Okay, and the superintendent said he wants that to be 7:30. Last year we had some kids not getting home until 10. What is the difference this year?
We have an internal routing team. So we have folks who are local to Louisville who know Louisville's roads making the routes for the bus drivers. Our bus drivers have had more time to practice and give feedback to compound coordinators about what works, what doesn't work. We have new technology on our buses, new camera systems on our buses. We have the EduLog app again for parents to be able to see starting the first day of school this year where their students' buses are. So we've taken a lot of feedback. We're at 65% mirroring this year, which means that students will have the same driver in the morning and the afternoon. That's a game changer. Elementary schoolers don't have to come to depots anymore, which is huge. So just a lot of changes that we're really hopeful is going to be successful.
Yeah, I loved my bus driver when I was in elementary school. Yeah, so,
Me too.
Yes, all right. Well, happy first day of school to you,
so much.
Carolyn, and I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. So, of course, JCPS is hoping that more bus drivers and also fewer routes will be the key to not having what the superintendent called a transportation disaster last year. The district currently has more drivers than routes, as Carolyn just mentioned. Last year, the last student wasn't dropped off at home until nearly 10 p.m. on the first day of school. Superintendent Marty Polio says the last students this year will get home around 7:30, but they plan to be more deliberate, they say, on this first day, making sure that students get on the right school bus and that they get off at the right bus stops at the end of the day. And he says as students get into the routine, he does expect that that time will improve.
Go forward. Obviously, first day is always challenging. So remember, there is making sure we have patience as everyone learns the new routine. Usually it takes 3 or 4 school days before every young person, especially our smallest ones, get used to their buses and their bus stops and all of those things.
Now, last year, JCPS was using a computer routing system. This year, they got rid of that. They're using an internal routing team. This is a team of 7 people. They're all Louisvillians. They know the roads really, really well, and they know the route, so they're able to make adjustments. Now, what happened last year is that computer system would add kids to buses and not even know if the bus was at capacity. This time, that's going to eliminate that. So again, the phone number to call if you have questions right now is 485-RIDE. But pretty soon, those drivers are all going to be heading out, 561 drivers for 510 bus stops to get more than 40,000 students in the district to school. If you have any questions about how the portal or the app works, let's go to Olivia to show us.
Yeah, Shannon, and we've downloaded the EduLog app here on our iPad, so we've been following some of the buses, and anyone can do this just by checking in on JCPS buses. So if a grandparent or an aunt or uncle is waiting at home for the kids to get dropped off, even they can track this. It doesn't have to just be a parent. But I want to show you exactly what we're looking at, because we can show you all Jefferson County Public Schools buses. You can track there. You can list some of those buses, and then it'll take you to exactly where that bus is at that exact moment. So I'm even tracking bus 1767, which is, I believe, at the bus compound where Shannon is right now, but they'll start rolling here soon, and you can track them and see when they're getting to your bus stop soon. Shannon?
Yes, those buses are heading out. You can probably hear them. Also this year, JCPS is using a color-coded tagging system to make sure that the kids are getting on the right school bus. And to explain more about how this works, let's go to Kirsten Foote. She's in our Storm Tracker this morning. Kirsten?
Good morning, Shannon. That's right. JCPS is working with a new tagging system, making sure students are easily identified. Now, this color coding tagging system is differentiating each age group. Kindergartners will get a red tag placed on their backpack when they get to school today. On the tag will be vital information like the student's name, school, bus number, and bus stop information. JCPS says they're the only age group with that red tag so they can be easily identified. And as for the rest of elementary students, they'll get a yellow tag today. Now, middle school and high school students will get a green tag today, which JCPS recommends your student take a photo of that tag to show school staff in case it gets lost. And as a heads up, kindergarten students must have an adult present at the bus stop to be dropped off today. Otherwise, they'll stay on the bus and they'll return to their school. All other grades can be dropped off without an adult present. Kirsten Foote, Wave News.
Thank you, Kirsten. So because JCPS cut busing to traditional and magnet schools, with the exception of Central and Western, there is expected to be more vehicle traffic all around the schools. So JCPS has tried to improve that. So where you used to see bus lanes and bus staging areas, you'll now see new lanes marked off for that traffic. JCPS spent hundreds of thousands of dollars making these improvements, trying to keep the lines moving. They also hired an LMPD officer to be the new traffic coordinator in charge of many of the changes that will be happening to those pickup lines.
Follow their social media accounts so that they will have their traffic plans posted. Make sure that you understand that the traffic plan that you had last year may look differently at your school. Be up to date on that. In addition to that, I would say, especially on the first couple of days of school, everyone's going to be a little slow. It's a new routine for everybody, so give grace to other parents, give grace to the school while they work out the kinks in their plan.
So they've worked on lane delineators, they've added traffic cones and other pieces of traffic equipment. Also, they did some restriping and repainting at more than 24 schools. So we hope everything goes great today on this first day back to school for JCPS kids and other kids too. Let's go to Tawana right now with a look at the next 12.
And over the next 12 hours, the weather will be behaving itself. That's certainly some good news there. For that ride-in, sitting in the 60s and 70s. For by lunch, hovering near 80. And for the ride home, we'll be well into the 80s at that point. Remember, we have that humidity around for today. But as we head towards the weekend, some cooler temperatures and lower humidity in the forecast. I'll explain why in just a bit.
Thanks, Tawana. Digging equipment and dozens of law enforcement officers will be back in Nelson County looking for Crystal Rogers' body. The FBI says the search comes after they received several tips about a property and its connection to the high-profile case. Law enforcement have zoned in on a part of the Cox's Creek area and a property that once belonged to Nick Houck, the brother of Brooks Houck, the man charged with Rogers' murder and her boyfriend at the time. As Wave News reporter Josh Ninke explains, right now the search is in the beginning stages, but it is expected to continue for days, Josh.
Yeah, Shannon, it's been 9 years since Crystal Rogers disappeared, and there have been several searches like this in that time, but authorities still have not found her body. Now, this is a look at the dig site from one of our drones. You can see plenty of cars out there and several tents set up. That green one, though, on your screen seems to be the main dig site. We also saw an excavator and some other equipment out there. Authorities couldn't tell us very much about what's happening, besides the fact that this is connected to the Crystal Rogers case. Nelson County Sheriff Ramon Pinaroa gave us a very brief statement about what's happening.
Pretty much, you guys know the drill. This is still an ongoing. We have not found a body, and it's what we're here to do.
He also confirmed that crews will be out through at least today, continuing the dig. Investigators have been at the home since Tuesday. Now, I also want to point out that the current homeowners are not involved in the investigation and are cooperating with authorities. We'll, of course, keep you posted as this search continues. Live in the studio, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thanks, Josh. Right now, prosecutors only have circumstantial evidence against Brooks Houck, Steve Lawson, and Joseph Lawson. Houck is charged with murder and tampering with physical evidence. Steve Lawson and his son Joseph are each charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with evidence. Legal experts tell us the discovery of her body could make the difference, but it is not necessarily needed for a conviction. The evidence presented could include a wide range of things, from phone calls, statements, purchases, even certain activities. Legal experts say circumstantial evidence helps piece cases together. That helps the prosecution, while the defense would do the opposite and try to create as much uncertainty as possible with the available evidence.
If you have a 100-piece puzzle, and the body can be one piece. So if you got 99 other solid pieces, you're going to be able to show the picture to the jury and show them that the puzzle still is what they think it is, or what the prosecution is saying it is.
A former trial date has been set for February 10th. That could change. A judge is expected to make a decision next month on whether the three men will be tried together or separately.